win,
saddle.
Thankfully.
and
No.
you're close.
Terry?
Too bad.
Hi, Terry.
Hi there. Good.
Good morning. It's good. Oh, yes, I do.
I do.
I got so much crap. I'll have to sort it during the day. All right. Good morning, everyone.
Oh, hang on.
Hello. Hello.
Not ready.
Hello. There we go.
There we go.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to commission meeting. Today is the 25th of March, 2024. It's a lovely spring morning with a whiteout outside. It's not cool, but it's fine.
It's only 7 months until Christmas.
Shut up, John.
One
Wow.
of these.
My wife hears you say that, she'll be putting up a tree.
It's about time to put it out, I think.
That threw me off.
She took it down 3 weeks ago.
We still have one up in the basement. I haven't been down there for a minute. The kids have they call it their dollar store Christmas. They'll go buy dollar store stuff for each other, which is their gift to us as we get to sleep in, and they just hang out and open their dollar store gifts, which is lovely. I went downstairs the other day, and the dollar store tree's still up, and all their dollar store crap has now been dragged around the house by the dogs. So
Oh, nice.
don't say Christmas yet, John.
I apologize. It's 9 months, not 7.
Okay.
That's much better.
All right. Well, welcome out this morning.
Quick.
We've asked Bruce. Well, let's go with George first. George, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning? And then Bruce, would you lead us, say a prayer for us?
And repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we humbly bow our heads today. Father, we give thee thanks for all that we have. We thank you for this beautiful land that we live in. We thank you for the moisture that we've received. We thank you for the freedoms and the and the rights that we have as Americans and Utahns and as Iron County residents. Father, we ask a special blessing on this meeting, that we'll have the Spirit guide us and direct us, that we'll be able to continue to have those freedoms. Father, we love thee, we love thy Son, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right, we've got minutes from March 11th commission meeting, and then also the special canvas meeting from March 19th.
I'll move for approval of the minutes 3/11/2024 and 3/19/2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to say aye to the 11th, and but I was gone on the 19th. So
Yeah, right.
okay, those are approved.
I'll move to approve claims from March 11th, 24 to March 24th, 24.
Perfect. Is there a second for
Second.
claims? Moved and seconded. All in favor for those claims?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We have department reports this morning. We're going to have Bruce go first.
Sorry to be a pain. I didn't mean to.
If that's
I
the
got a
worst
training.
thing that happens, that's easy.
I got a truck broke down and Wheelers is coming to train us on a new compactor, so I apologize.
Nice.
So we can start with the landfill one there. We're down a guy. Keith left, but we're going to we got interviews on this Wednesday. We did have a SWANA training, that's Solid Waste of North America. Solid Waste Association of North America training in Springdale. They're the kind of the presiding body. And the DEQ asked us to go to those. There is some new changes coming from the DEQ. They're going to be coming to every landfill, and they want to see what what's out there and what's being put away, and there's going to be new regulation coming because of that. We don't know what that's going to be, but they said that they were dictated by statute to come by and make new rules every once in a while. Our budget's in good shape. We did receive our new 836 compactor on, I guess it was Thursday. Was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday. We're going to put that into production this morning. As soon as I get back, the folks from Wheeler are going to be there to train us and show us. It's, I believe it's a $1.3 million, was it? I think it was a huge investment, but one that I believe is worthwhile. Our compaction rates should go up. They're saying anywhere from 300 to 700 pounds per square yard it'll go up. So if you take that over the life of the landfill, it really makes a huge difference. It turns into millions of dollars really fast. And we're excited to have that. Jeremy and I will be doing the spring water samples tomorrow. And that's really no big deal, but just to let you know. And then this next page, this one right here, the grid report, it's just a snapshot of where we are this year. That first page is 2024. That's from January 1st until now. And then I just put on there 2023, the same time in 2022. And you can see that, we were 12,000 tons in 2023. We were 12,100 tons in 2022, 12,006 in 2023. And right now we're 13.1. So it's a great indicator of where we are economically and what's happening in our community. We continue to grow at the landfill. And just hopefully this new compactor will also make it easier to it'll push more and hopefully we can keep on top of it. But we're continuing to have record days every once in a while. And they don't really make sense. They're just bigger days. There's not a tear down of a house or buildings. It's just bigger days. And our biggest hauler right now is Cedar City still. They're the biggest tonnage bringer. So any questions of landfill? Road department is the next paper there.
Oh, did you talk about the compactor coming over to Parowan?
Oh, no, I
Bringing
didn't.
that's
So we also, with
point.
that, we was all, because we got the new compactor in Cedar, or at Iron Springs, we were able to bring our old one over here, which we've never had in Parowan. We've never had a compactor over here. We push with a dozer, a small dozer. And just to give you a relation on how that works, there's less than 700 pounds per square inch come out of the dozer tracks, and the old compaction that's coming here is 2,500 pounds per square inch at the tips. So we've never really had a compaction over here. It should increase the life of this landfill significantly. So yeah, I'm sorry.
The other thing is the hours. Talk about the reason why we had to change those hours in Parowan. And
So we're just struggling keeping people working at the landfill, and so we changed a few things. It used to be open 5 days a week from 10 until 6. We just can't keep people working there at that, so we've switched the hours to 4/10s. Every other week they work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the next week they work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Parowan Landfill's open every other Saturday and closed every other Saturday. We're open we're open till 6 o'clock, and we're open earlier in the day. When we were working the 5 days a week, we had people complaining that it wasn't open till 10 o'clock, and they just leave stuff in front of the gate. It seems like it's no matter what we do, it's a pretty tough one to win. But we feel like what we've done now is our best option to retain help. We had two guys leave in a short amount of time just because they said, I'm not working Saturdays anymore. They say, yeah, we'll work Saturdays when you hire them, and it goes about 2 years, and then it just doesn't happen anymore. It's pretty tough to keep people there.
It's hard to work every Saturday.
It is.
How would you like to do it? And the people, honestly,
I did it my whole career.
Just to be frank, the people from Parowan that call and complain, have them sign up,
Yeah,
have them apply for the job.
yeah.
I mean, we've gotten beat up on that pretty hard, and nobody likes to work every Saturday.
No. So
Well, I think it's a good option. The Parowan folks will just have to make plans. You're just going to have to make plans and do it, to where you know which Saturdays are open, and, you just.
yeah, there's a
have to
sign
plan
there. It's
around
on our
it.
sign. It's on the
On the
website.
website and
So,
on the sign.
It seems easy to understand on the sign and the website. Any other questions about landfill? Comments? Moving on to roads. Sam's working on some MOUs for us for Cedar Mountain, for some extra gravel on Cedar Mountain and the Gold Springs. Justin and I attended some asphalt training conference up in Salt Lake. Felt like it was really valuable. We was able to make some more contacts so that we can bid things differently and have more people to bid those items, and that just turns into better pricing down the road. We're working on 7700 West still. We're about halfway through with the Type 2. All the sub base is done. Curtis helped us. We put a pipe in. I don't know if we helped him or he helped us, but we put a big concrete 6-foot or 5-foot concrete pipe underneath the road to drain into Quichapa from Quichapa Creek. So
Was that a box culvert?
it's round.
Round.
It's round, yeah. We got that done last Wednesday, thanks to Curtis. And then we got our bids back for our asphalt. That went to Sunrock. Our chip also went to Sunrock, and then we're getting our chip oil from 3 different places. There's because of the nature of what kind of oil it is and how we use it, there's different specs and applications. So there's actually 3 different companies we're getting that from. We did receive one of our 10-wheel dump trucks that we budgeted for the 2023. As you guys know, it's just hard to get equipment. And we'll get the other one hopefully in May or June. They were supposed to be here in 2023, but they're just kind of hard to get. We're still working on the realignment of the Gold Springs Road, and we're working on hauling riprap over to Parowan this week. Our budget's on track.
What about
And-
that gravel deal with Sitla over at the Springs? Are you going to pursue that?
Yeah, it's part of the MOU we're still working on. We got to get a archaeological review first, and the first one didn't pass. So
On the road or the gravel pit?
on the gravel pit, so we got to get another one.
Did they find some stuff?
If they do, they don't ever say.
Oh.
They don't want you going out there and removing them, I think. So,
Found an arrowhead, huh?
yeah.
Are you gonna come back to the BLM meeting today? Yeah.
I am. I just got to get back to
Yeah.
Cedar and go through the compactor.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for all you guys do. Any questions?
Thanks, Bruce.
No,
I'm going to
Good.
excuse myself. Thank you.
All right.
thank you.
Thanks.
Get your copies.
Terry, come on down.
Is that all? Good morning. I'm going to make talk really fast or talk until I lose my voice.
Uh-oh.
What do you want to hear first?
Doesn't sound very strong.
No, I got most of my office sick last week because of work. So
Good job.
Good job.
I got sick from the in-laws because we were working with my mother-in-law's funeral and stuff. They were all sick, so Terry had to
There you
get it too. So, okay. No, we're doing okay though. The top sheet out of the two I give you is an overview. I want to kind of go through this on it. So far this year, this is as of January. This isn't right. Should have been March 22. Should have been March 22, 2024. We've issued 111 permits to date compared to 75 permits last year. We are up 52 permits over last year compared to 17 at the end of March last year. Oh, on houses. So our houses, we've issued 52 houses alone this year compared to 17 last year. So we're up 35 from last year. So our houses are up this year. I think that's because we saw the interest rates come down a little bit. The houses we're seeing are bigger houses too. So it's bringing a little bit more money in that way. So they're saying it's slowing down. We're not seeing it slow down for us yet. We know that it can
Slow
happen.
down, people.
Yeah. And then the next one, we are down 2 inspectors from last year at this time. It means understaffed, underpaid. My secretary typed that for me. But yeah, we're down two inspectors from last year. So it's taken a toll right now on Nate and myself. Nate did get one of his commercial building passed 2 weeks ago. So he's got one of his commercials. We're going to start working on the rest of those. Chelsea will be taking her residential building inspector test within the next 2 weeks. She's been studying. She's trying to get that up and going. So she's starting to learn that and has asking lots of questions. Under the building, we have completed plan reviews for 136 projects this year. We have completed 694 inspections. Now, I put in parentheses stops. That doesn't mean just because there are 694 inspections, those are stops at different houses, and they could have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 inspections with it.
With one.
So our numbers could be between 1,500 and 1,700 on inspections on those for this year so far. And like I said, we're only at the end of March. Big projects that we have coming that we know of so far right now, we've got 3 different gas stations. 2 of them are big truck stops here in Parowan, and 1 is a smaller store. 2 of them are Terribles, and 1 is a Mavericks truck stops. We're trying to work through Parowan is working through the annexation in Parowan to get those built over here.
Maverick going in over here?
Maverick is going on the west side of the freeway on 200 South.
Oh,
wow.
So that's there's still a few things that they got to work through, drainage and some other stuff on that interchange and stuff that they're working with the state on that when they were supposed to be meeting with them fairly soon on that one. But those are still in the plans. We've talked to different people, different stages and designs with those 3 businesses there. Ace Hardware, the contract that one's in Parowan. That contract was awarded last week to Bullet Construction. That is a 23,000 square foot building here in Parowan down by the hotel.
Wow.
Terry just got way busy.
Bullet Construction?
Derek, Robert's boy, will be doing that one, which is exciting. It's because they're good. and Derek. So they were awarded that contract on that one. They are hoping to break ground, at least start grading next week or the following week. So they want to start grading within the next 2 weeks because there's a lot of over excavation they've got to do there. Well, I finished the plan review on that one. So we've got a lot there. Here in Parowan, there's a lot going on right now. Commerce Crossroads Logistic Park, spit that all out in once. They are in the go stages right now. We meet with them this Thursday morning to go over their agreement, whatever it's called, their development agreement and stuff with that. And they want to start breaking ground on 2 buildings before July. In fact, they wanted to start breaking ground and grading on one of them this last week, so they got tied up on a couple things there. So we may have 1 building there starting in the next 2 weeks there, but they're hoping to have their office building started by summer and 1 or 2 more of their warehouses by summer too there. We have New Harmony Ranch and Subdivision. You guys dealt with them last commission meeting. That one, it was approved. They are in the design and getting ready to get all their infrastructure stuff worked out so that one can get started. They're hoping to get started by summertime on that one. So we'll see where we're at with that one there. And then still 2 possible solar farms that may start this summer. One of them is out in the Newcastle area that we got a conditional use permit last summer for. And the other one here is in Parowan Valley. It's smaller, that will tie in right by the Red Hills one here. So, and then legislation. We have a lot of legislation that can or may affect us. We have 14 plus bills, House and Senate bills that went through legislation this year. 2 of them have been signed by the governor. The others, I am not sure status of that yet. One of them is Senate Bill 185 regarding residential building inspections, that if inspections are not done within 3 days, that they can hire a third-party inspection company. That was run by Evan Vickers. So it was ran by Evan Vickers. I have a meeting tomorrow with all the building officials in the state going over all these legislation, these bills, and then I will meet with a local building officials from Iron County, Garfield County, Beaver County on Thursday or Friday to come up with a plan how to put this into effect so that we'll not hurt our budgets. So we're going to see what we can work out. We may have to come up with some type of agreement. We may have to sit down with attorneys and that type of stuff to work some agreements out where we can help cover back and forth to help everybody cover this bill that requires the inspections to be done in 3 days. At this point, we have not had any issues or any problems covering those inspections in the time required, but we never know what will happen.
Can't they choose to hire their own inspector now?
They can,
but now we have to pay for it.
we have to
if
pay
don't
for
do
it.
in 3 days.
That's how the bill went through. We thought we had the League of the Cities and Towns. We thought we had enough of the Senate and the House to back us on it. And at the last minute, the League pulled out and says we are not going to support not going through the jurisdictions. They felt that the jurisdictions needed some responsibility for not maintaining and taking care of their responsibilities with inspections. So that leaves us, if we can't get it to pay for an inspection. We have the right to improve their inspectors, so that's why we're coming up with meeting with the local building officials to see if we can come up with an agreement that it wouldn't cost us anything, that we can have one of them help if we needed help that way.
Who help?
All the local inspectors that we could help fill in if we needed to on a day.
Help each other out?
Yeah, help each other out.
From municipal to county? To
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bryan Head, Enoch, Cedar City,
So
Beaver, and
if
Garfield County.
You guys could, like, if an inspector from, so you guys could just do an economy of scale type thing, where if one inspector's out here, he can help you out, you help him out, kind of those kind of things.
And that's what we're going to try to meet this weekend and talk about this Thursday or Friday and talk about to see what we can come up. Like I said, we may have to come up with an agreement with attorneys, and so that we don't get burdened down on just frivolous stuff and trying to help them and cover what they should be covering and can't. But we want to come up with a plan that will help everybody if an emergency comes up, to help cover the cost that way, so that the counties and the jurisdictions and municipalities are not putting out upwards of thousands of dollars. And this all come about because of one local building department and another one from southern Utah and several up north that were not getting their inspections done in a timely manner. Several of our legislation and House bills, 180 or 518 with state amendments and required for plan reviews, that come in because of jurisdictions and municipalities not getting plan reviews done within the 14 days. So a lot of the stuff that gets put into law comes about because of jurisdictions and municipalities not getting the manpower they need and or not keeping things organized how they need it when they get going with things. So we're going to see what we can do, but that's Senate Bill 185 that Evan ran.
About the Connex boxes, is that something we have to put on our agenda, or is that just automatically change and you guys just don't have to enforce if it's a storage container under 350 square feet?
That's the next one is House Bill 518, which lines 194 and 195 added in number 11 to exempt building permits, which is grade level non-connected Connex boxes less than 350 square feet do not require a permit. Okay, that's state law. We don't need to do anything about that. My question is, are we talking 1, 2, 5, 10? What are we talking? That's the question that's got to come about. Are we talking, because years ago we had in legislation 200 square foot accessory structure that didn't require a building permit, but it says 200 square foot. Does it say 1 time, 2 times, 10 times?
I don't think it qualifies that. I just think if I don't think it matters how many.
They can't be attached, right?
They cannot be attached to
meets
the
those
house.
requirements. It doesn't matter how many. It's
And that's
my opinion.
And that's kind of where we're at, and that's the question that we will come up, and that's how we think it's written, that it come into there.
That should save you some time, right?
Not really.
Not that much. Okay, you don't
Nothing.
do that many.
No, we do plenty, but they come in. They were willing to come in and get a permit. So time wise, that was the least of my issues in time.
You
But
didn't have to go. It saves you having to go in and do.
yeah, it does with those that are putting them in. Yeah, but the problem we can have, and we will foresee it happening, they're put on the wrong property. They're put on the easements. They're put in the setbacks. Now, how do I address that?
Well, it's a civil
That's
matter.
part of our
It's a
question.
civil, but that become a civil.
You're
matter.
right. But we have an ordinance for setbacks too. How do we address that? So, and I like I talked to you before, Commissioner, I have no problem not issuing permits for them. I would like to have it say that they need to check on zoning and stuff still, but it doesn't say that. Just for setback issues, because now if it's exempt, how do I get them out of my front yard, out of my side yard, off of my property lines? That's the questions we have, is those type of things. I have no problem not issuing a permit. It will save me a little bit of time, definitely so. And it saves the property owner some money, exactly. I know that there's a few jurisdictions that were charging quite a bit of money for it, and I'm okay with that. Like I said before, we're not going to get rich off of a Connex box and a permit. So, but no, we would not have to change our ordinance anyway because it's state law. They supersede ours unless we put something through the state that is more strict than what the state has approved.
I understand there's unintended consequences with anything, but
Yeah.
of anything that we have on our books, I've had more complaints about this, about somebody having to come get a building permit for a Connex storage.
And I know, and that's fine. That's why I say
I'm happy to see this.
And I'm fine. If you're right, there's fine, and I've got no problem. So
If they're too close to the property lines, if they're not in the setbacks, that kind of thing, so they would be portable, so you could drag them, up or back or forth
Yeah.
or whatever. So if there is an issue like that, that's probably something we can address,
we
right?
can address it. It just goes into more time, but yes, we can address it.
So
yeah.
unless somebody complains about it, it probably won't be an issue anyway.
No,
right?
it won't. So
Well, if the neighbor complains and said they're too close to the property line or whatever.
And generally where we're seeing the Connex boxes, we're not having people complain about that. We do have a few that says they're in the front yard now.
Yeah.
So, but we're not making money on it. Let's put it that way, Commissioner. So I have no
Well,
problem with
Yeah.
that.
My thought is if if they are in the front yard and the neighbors are complaining, then they'll have to pull them back.
Yeah, exactly. And then we would send out Joe to start the zoning on that one, get it taken care of. So yeah, so no, that's the two bills. Is the 185 that but Senator Vickers ran. But we think we got that one under control. We haven't had a bit of problem with our inspections on that timeline anyway. I've had Para One contact me and Paraguna both contact me and says, how are we going to address the issue? I says, same way I've always done it. I'm going to go out and do my inspections. So we haven't had an issue. So it's like I said, there's 5 or so jurisdictions that have caused a problem for the 99.
So is there inspectors that are self-employed? I mean,
Yeah.
that can do those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not looking at self-employed. We're looking at doing it a reciprocating contract, similar to what we did with
they're
Enid City.
a MOU with the other.
And that's what we've got to sit down and talk with. I would not go to the extent I did with Enoch City as to cover them that much.
Yeah.
I would be willing to help some, but I'm not willing to go into a full negotiated contract like we did with Enoch City to cover every time they want to leave,
Yeah.
because that one has turned into a lot of work for us in Enoch City. So, but we're willing to help still where he's there. So, but yeah, we have 14 bills. I'll be meeting with building officials throughout the state to go over those to see how they've affected building, zoning, and planning type stuff, and when they go into effect. Back to the one commissioner, the governor did sign it on the 18th, and it goes into effect.
518, he signed that one.
Yeah, 3/18. He signed that when it goes into
518.
effect.
518.
No, 3/18. March 18th. He signed it.
Oh, the day.
March 18th. He signed it, and it goes into effect May 1st.
Well, House Bill 518 was signed on 3.
House Bill 518. He signed on the 21st, and goes into effect July 1st.
Okay.
Sorry, getting them backwards. And then that Senate Bill 185, he signed the 18th and goes into effect May 18th or May 1st, and that's the inspectors on May 1st.
Okay.
The other one is July 1st, because that rolls in with all of our other amendments to the building codes. It's July 1st is usually when we do our changes on there. But no, back to the question, we do not have to change our ordinances for that one,
Okay.
so we're
It
good.
just
there.
automatically happens.
Yeah, it automatically. Yeah.
We just ours is set up to follow whatever the state's is.
Yeah,
Automatically.
ours is done under resolution that we adopt whatever the state has adopted through resolution, just automatically adopts the current stuff on it, yes. Planning, you've seen what Reed, he's been here to visit with you nonstop to keep things going there. He's been working on a lot of these legislative changes, trying to keep up with the date on the changes and timelines and all that stuff. Last page on this one is our maintenance and what Thane's been doing to try to keep up with it. We got RFP out and proposals on our lawn care. They have come back. We were trying to get those numbers together, but we didn't get them for today because it closed last week. We will have those together for you for your next commission meeting to approve and then start the contract on April 15th. We had 7 or 8 companies come in a whole lot less. One of them come in a whole lot less than we were charged the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Nice.
So almost half.
Ow.
Just his bid. But the others, we've still got some cheaper than that one. So the numbers are looking good. We've got, like I said, 7 or 8 companies that we're looking at. Some of them we know very well and can do a good job on our landscaping. So we'll get those reviewed, get numbers together for next commission meeting to get those approved for a bid award there. We fixed that leaking roof at the concession stand, the restroom building. That roof is taken care of. We don't know for sure if it was the roof leaking or the hole in the water line that was leaking
Oh,
that
whoops.
caused the problem. But we got both of them fixed on that restroom building. So now we've just got to work with Amy to get sheetrocks up and done inside and work on that one. Tiger Grimshaw has given us some ideas for the fairgrounds. That next packet we have is an RFP for the exhibit building at the fairgrounds. I just need some directions if we want to send out to get some numbers to see what we want to do from there. If you've looked at it, I've got try to get some kind of renderings together to put some ideas to kind of do some updates on it. I don't know if we've got inputs. I know we didn't have a lot of time. I tried to finish it over the weekend with everything that's happened. I did not get it done sooner. So,
I think it's going to be great. We really need to upgrade that building. It hasn't had anything done for a long, long time other than the additions.
Yeah.
But no big maintenance on that. I believe that we're going to use tourism dollars on
okay.
that. So I talk to Maria.
So I can let you guys look at that today and then get with you. I've got it tentatively to go out this week with a site visit next week, and then a bids in by the 18th of April to
Okay.
try to get some dollar numbers together to see where we're at. That's a tentative schedule on that one. That way, if you have any comments or questions on what you see, then we can work it out before I send it out tomorrow or Tuesday or Wednesday. See if we need to change anything in that writing on there. But I feel, and Sam's helped write that RFP up on that one, that we're fairly comfortable in sending that out if we want to go that route. We're hoping the parking lot at the Justice Center, we're hoping pending weather, looking today it wouldn't start, but we're hoping to start the parking lot at the Justice Center end of April, first part of May, if the weather will turn and get better for us. We will have the expansion at the CDL driving course at the Public Safety Building will be completed this week with the new fence put up, graded out, and the old fence section taken out for them. And Jamie and driver's license are pleased and say that will work out great for them.
Good.
And they can keep it there. And then we have the fence at the Newcastle Fire Station between the fire station and to the landowner to the west side was completed 2 weeks ago. So that one is in there. We have all the bees, as far as we can tell, taken out and cleaned out of the Burrell Fire Station. And Thane and them went out and tried to seal everything. I don't know if that was last week. They went and tried to get everything sealed back up and get it back together out to the Burrell Fire Station. Thane's helped remodel the Fleet Department offices to give them their offices they need. And then we've got a bid to install fencing around the visitor center. I think that bid come in right around $22,000, just a touch higher than we anticipated. But that's all black fence, black post, everything to kind of blend in and match in a little bit better there. So we'll get that looked at and see where we need to start there. So
So on the bees, how many bees? Was there a lot of bees in there?
there was a lot of
Was there?
bees. I can't remember exactly, but Blaine said he kept pulling them out.
Who benefited from all the honey?
Not us. We think there's still a couple. We think there were still a couple cones in there,
Was there?
from what they could tell. But
But it's sealed up now.
and they pulled a lot out of there. And Blaine said it went good, so they moved to pull them out. But it was fun. They
Those
said.
bees, they find a little hole and they'll make a. I helped
Yeah.
Blaine one time on the Rock Church.
Oh.
Those old windows in the gymnasium.
Huh?
There was bees found a hole through that, and they made a hive inside between the two
Oh,
windows.
between the two. Oh wow.
I helped him we built kind of a little tent in there, and then he went in and sucked them
Got
out.
'em out.
It was so we didn't have bees flying all over the church, right?
Crazy.
It was.
It's not good.
Crazy about what happens.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's where I'm at. Anything else for me?
That's a lot.
I wish you'd find something to do with your time.
That's what my wife says. My birthday is
Busy.
tomorrow. She says, "What do you want for your birthday?" I says, "I would like a little more free time."
Well, and
That would be nice.
the last time I went and rode with Terry for a day,
Oh
I mean,
my
literally, we left
Where?
Cedar, we went to Newcastle, and then from Newcastle, we went to northwest of Paraguna to the Beaver County line, and
About that close.
and inspected. We did inspections in Newcastle, and then we did inspections clear over there,
All right.
and then we came back and we did inspections in Parowan. And by the time we were done, it was 3 p.m.
And Mike was ready for his nap. I don't know why.
That was lovely, but I mean, the point being, you say you've got to. I mean, that took really a whole day by the time you get everything, the paperwork and everything organized. I mean, that took one guy all day, and I mean, and we drove over 100 miles. Just so
And right now, I'm the only commercial inspector we have, so I might have one out in Newcastle, Parowan, and around. So once these get going,
You're
I
gonna
can't
be
get some
really
help,
busy.
which
Yeah.
it's busy and a lot of commercial going on. That's why I said with Ace starting alone and the hotel, those two right there.
It'd be crazy.
Well, I think we had one in Bryan had that day too that we just didn't make. We couldn't make it.
We couldn't make it, so we had to
We
cancel
couldn't
that
make
one.
it to Bryan had that day.
But yeah, that goes back to there. Out of the 28 years, I think I've only had 6 or 7 inspections that I have had to call and roll over one day. We have never gone 2 days on an inspection.
That's great.
That's awesome. I have a question about the public safety building. So did you talk to the sheriff? Was he okay with that? And not so much.
We talked to the sheriff, yes.
Okay.
The sheriff finally went out and looked at it and says, "Oh, there's more space than I thought."
Oh, okay.
Was he okay with it?
Well,
We did it
we'll
with his
probably be
blessing.
moving in the next little
Exactly.
while
And we
anyway, so-
talked about several things. So he saw that he could get in. We added another. We left one gate where it was at, and we added another gate on the east side so that they can get in. They're 20-foot gates, so they can get all their stuff in and out, trailers in and out,
Good.
so that they can still use it.
They
and put
were
stuff
okay
in.
with it when it was all said and done.
Yeah.
And the bottom line, I mean, without that expansion, we would lose
We
well,
would.
Well,
the,
We would
the
have
Class
lost
A
them.
driver's license
Yeah.
course. I mean, they would have had to go to St.
somewhere
George.
else,
to-
yeah.
We would have lost him before the
yeah,
end
we
of the year.
we wanted to keep that for sure.
So yeah, it hurt a little bit of his storage, but we can still go out and reorganize things for him for right now. We've talked to Sam, and he knows what they bring in and out there quite a bit with their stuff. So
Yeah.
we can still get everything in they need. We can organize some stuff if we need to get a little more space so it's better. There's 2 connexes that we still have 25, 30 feet between the fence and the connex, still 20 feet between. So they still have a lot of space to get around. So,
Good.
but yes,
Okay.
it needed to be done. As we talked before, we didn't want to lose the CDL driver course out of there.
Yeah, that
and
was a
lose
good
them out of the
one to
building.
keep.
So
Okay.
Yeah, we lose renters,
We don't
And- and
want to
people-
lose the renters.
and people have to go to St. George to take their test.
no, we didn't want that.
Yeah,
So.
this is much better.
Anything else? Thank you, Commissioner Cousins, for what you do, Commissioner Blake, Commissioner Wood. Commissioner Wood and I did have a talk Friday, so one of the comments
Yep.
was already
Very
typed
good.
up before we talked, and we talked about getting trying to look at putting out for a secretary to get Chelsea more into where she can train the secretary
Before
and
she
working
goes.
more on to get her certifications. So this week sometime we'll sit down and visit to see what route we need to go on.
She'll start doing inspections. Chelsea will.
She will hopefully have her first certification within 2 weeks. He was wanting to test this week, but she's homesick today.
Oh,
So, yeah, she's hopefully will have her certification within 2 weeks to start doing some inspections. And at that point, we will need to, for sure, look at a
we've
secretary.
got to get that secretary because the process takes about a month anyway, right?
Exactly.
Three-
But this way, even with one certification, she can do some inspections. She can still train
Yeah.
and get the new one ready, set up in the office, what needs to be done there,
Yeah.
and work with her. So,
Good.
okay. Anything else for me today?
You're good.
No.
Okay, if you don't
Thank
mind, I'm
you.
going to go hit the dusty trails again.
Okay.
The wet
Luck.
trails now. Thank you, commissioners.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Terry.
Rich, come on down.
Boy, with as busy as it's been with the last 2 reports, I could sit down and save you time and let Mike come up. Oh. All right. Well, it has been a busy quarter. So I just choose these out of order a little bit. As you know, we received notification for $7 million on Iron Springs Road. We have not. I've reached out a couple of times now to see what the process is to get that money and that process going. But in conjunction with that, we've been talking with Danny Stewart about the port system, and they had a grant for a infrastructure needs around the port. And so Reed and I met with Danny and with Dave at Cedar City and had conversations about the whole picture of out there at Iron Springs and what would be inclusive. And what the good news is perhaps with that we would be able to study the road profile and get some of that $7 million wouldn't be spent on a design if we can get an overall picture from the grant that Danny Stewart's office already has. But we also want to look at the railroad. We want to look at Sage Hill Road. We want to look at the future businesses that will be coming out to Iron Springs besides just Commerce Park. We expect that to be quite a booming little area of infrastructure. Along with, I met with Frank Nichols last week, and we took a drive, and his hopes on the north side of Iron Springs Road, or the west side of Iron Springs Road, particularly for residential. So there's a lot going on. So with that, we are working with Cedar City to determine the upsizing of the sewer that will need to go at that I guess all the sewer is going to bottleneck. And I hate to use the word bottleneck when you're talking about sewer, but it is a point where all of it's coming together. And so we are trying to work with BZI about that, about how much of that upsizing.
That's at 45, right? 4,500.
No, so out in Commerce Park, they are looking to have a 30-inch sewer line, which will go to a lift station, which will send it to 4,500.
Oh.
But when you look at what feeds at that point in Commerce Park, it's coming from, for example, Silver Hills would be tied into that, where Frank Nichols wants to develop that area out there. It would take things that would come down off of Iron Springs Road from the west. It would possibly take things that would come from the east side of Quichapa. Now that's where we're working with Cedar City. We don't see development out there any smaller, or the density being less than 20 acre lots. And we've talked to them about that. But their master plan shows, for example, Iron West. The day will come when we have, and that's one of the important things to coordinate with these things, is coming down Iron Springs Road is a major sewer line to take off of Iron West, because right now they're pumping up to 2,300. And so if gravity could be switched on instead of a pump station, but they have nowhere to take it to the west. But when they build a sewer line down Iron Springs Road, it would then relieve Iron Springs West from that pump station, and it would become a gravity flow to that point. Then it would go into the BZI or into the Commerce Park, and from there it would be taken. So it's kind of a firm but moving target. As things develop, you want to convert over to
So you're saying they'll
gravity.
upgrade the sewer line up, or they'll put a sewer line up Iron Springs Road when they do the road?
Well,
what
that's
you're
the
saying?
that's the discussion. That's the discussion. Well,
So you're saying that the grade is such that it will gravity flow to the west to Iron Springs and then to the north?
correct. Correct. And so that's why they've always had in their master plan a 30-inch sewer line in the Commerce
That's
Park
interesting.
area.
How much flow? It seems pretty flat, or almost in my mind it almost seems like it goes uphill to the north, but it doesn't. It flows to the north.
It does, and up and down, but overall, the valley flows to the northwest, and so it naturally flows to the northwest. So we're in discussions with Cedar City and trying to have a long-term plan, not something. Now that doesn't mean it all happens in the next 5 to 6 years, but you do want to have a plan together. And if we're going to redo Iron Springs Road, I was talking to Jonathan and last week, and it just makes sense that if Iron Springs Road is going to be rebuilt, put the sewer line in that is expected to be there, even if it's only stubbed in over by 56.
For
But
future.
right, we don't want to dig up Iron Springs Road after all the effort. Even in 20 years, we don't want to dig up Iron Springs Road if it always should have had a sewer line in it.
While you're on Iron Springs, I have a question about the easements. Do we have all of the easements for Iron Springs all the way out?
Isn't that a great mystery question? The other day I found out we lack a little room on Sage Hill. I've talked to the property owner there. We have a verbal agreement to take down and put up his fence if we need to, but we're going to step forward and get the 75 feet. That's one of the reasons I met with Frank. We have 66 feet of easement across his property, not 75. And we want 75 for Sage Hill Road because Sage Hill Road is anticipated in our master plan to come off of Iron Springs Road, go where it's going, and then loop back over to 3200 north, just north of that, just left me. Just north of the Bullock solar field.
Field.
Do you know where I'm talking about now?
Yeah.
So that was always the master plan. And then, of course, we're crossing the Belt Route there as well. So Sage Hill Road will become a very important road, at least from coming up of Iron Springs to the north rather than going south.
There just
back to
isn't
56.
much transportation across there at all.
There is none.
Yeah, none.
Absolutely none.
Well, a little dirt two-track, but but you know, to get a road across there will be huge.
Exactly. And so we do have 75 feet back and forth, but we do have a real bottleneck just before the railroad tracks. I've talked to the landowner, made him aware that what we're doing so that we are, if we need to take down his fence, because we're going to be chip sealing that road. Now, something Bruce didn't mention, and I've heard this now 3 times, the contractors go to Lamb for chip sealing. He's committed for the summer in Idaho and to the Forest Service. So we don't have a commercial chip sealer in the valley. We have the road department, and we have Enoch. Bruce said they just bought a chipper, but they don't have the crew.
Heroin and Enoch together.
Right.
Just
They don't
bought
have the
together.
crew or the expertise to run it. So I met with Ray Bullock last week to talk about a situation, and I ran this by Sam, where we could create a partnership. They will do Sage Hill Road, all the prep work, and the road department will do the chip sealing, because there isn't a chip sealer available. In fact, Sunrock contacted me last week and asked me if instead of chip sealing, if they could pave, because they knew they couldn't get a chip sealer. And that's how tight chip sealing is right now. So if they're going and willing to pave, we discussed it, and
We just bought a chipper. The road department did.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on with this, and Bruce and I have a great relationship, I believe, and coordinate these things, like the coordination on the culvert on 7700, the 5-foot culvert. So, sorry, that all stemmed from the conversation about Iron Springs Road, which we need a design on, and we need to look at the condition of the current road. We know what the surface looks like. The question is what's under the road, and that's going to be part
I
of
just wouldn't
the
do too much until we get the money in hand
oh
from Washington D.C. That
no,
kinda
until
concerning.
we know how that funding's going to work. We aren't doing
And
anything.
what kind of strings are you talking? SAM
don't
number? Are
even-
you talking Davis Bacon? You talking all those regulations probably?
We have no idea.
no
what the
idea. We
strings
haven't
are
got
right now.
any information yet.
So we want to be aware of that. We'll be working on that, and I keep reaching out to Congressman Molloy's office and asking for that kind of information. Where do we go from here? We purchased properties on with the Corridor Preservation Fund for the Belt Route. We've closed some of those properties. We now own them, which is a step forward. Especially when I took this position, I thought the Belt Route was 20, 25 years away. With all the growth that we're having out to the west of the valley, I think that may be pushing up rapidly, and we will want to be in a good position to put that Belt Route in sooner than later. And with the expansion, I'm glad that we have a plan. As an expansion, what I mean is what Terry talked about, the homes and the residential, which is going to the west and northwest. With our plans in place that have been approved, we now know how to work with the developers to obtain and make sure that we have good road infrastructure in those locations. We awarded the EWP, which is the emergency monies we were given for after the 2021 flooding. We awarded those projects to Sunrock. I spoke about that last time, and they began on last Monday on right hand to stabilize the bridge
Under the
there.
bridge.
Yeah. Now, and at the end of this, I'll come back to that, swing back to that. The office negotiated the easement with Cedar City to bring Quichapaw Creek through. We are now still working with the property owners to the south to improve that right away through there so we can keep Quichapa running, as well as run 3200 south from 7700 to the Sunrise subdivision. That's a little longer term project. I do have to. I do want to report that the county is in good position with spring runoff. We have cleaned all the major run channels, Quichapa and Stevensville Dick / Cold Creek. Last week I met with BLM, UDOT, Western Rock, and Cedar City to discuss the big picture plan of what we want to do with the Cold Creek study, Lower Cold Creek study that's been worked on. You've seen it. Well, now they've seen it. We already, let's see, BLM already has a maintenance agreement with the city. We were talking about that may need to be expanded. They have a 130-foot maintenance agreement. We're looking at a larger area than that. UDOT said the same thing. We'll just come up with a maintenance agreement. Western Rock, Jeremy was going to take that up the chain of command to his bosses, but they now know that we want to expand between Bulldog Road and Airport Road, the width of the channel, and do some improvement there, along with what the long-term plan is for further to the north up to 2200. So this may come as news to you. Last week I spoke with Curtis. He is leaving the county. He will be leaving as of the 5th of April. He has been offered another job, which is right up his alley. So he is very happy to work for us. And so coming full circle back to the EWP, I had anticipated that we could do over there by the nursery, that project. I'm not sure without what I consider a super qualified operator and a really qualified planner, that if we're going to need to hire, which it's already been posted, an excavator for the excavator operator for the engineering department. Depending on who we get, I'm just not as comfortable as I was 2 weeks ago when I said the county could take that project on. Now I wonder if we should rethink that and have that done outside of the county's preview. I know the road department can't do it. They're swamped. They've got plenty on their plate. And I don't have a new operator. And unless Curtis can do it before the 5th, which would be quite a lift. So he is, I will have more detail, but, he's been a wonderful employee.
He has.
He has, absolutely.
He is a great operator.
We're going to miss him.
We are, but I'm excited for his new opportunities. He's excited, and we can share a little more later. And does the commission have any questions?
I have one about the Cedar Highlands property. Did you get that listed or?
It hasn't been listed yet. I talked to John about it. We talked about doing it differently, but the staff revisited that, John. We've had that property for over 4 years. I think if we list it and see what happens first before we get into a contract with somebody, that way we can have more flexibility with negotiating. We have purchased properties without outside assistance, so other than the title companies. So let's put it on the websites first and see how we fare with that.
We had talked about hiring a realtor, but that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have had it for 4 or 5 years. A couple more months to see how things go for us. I think I'll talk to Karsten about its value so that we can get a good idea of what it's worth. So, but thank you for that question. That was on my list of things to do. Anything else? Well, again, like Terry and Bruce said, thank you for your support. I appreciate it when I call that you're there to answer questions or you're there to have your concerns expressed, and we can work on those.
Thanks, Rich. Maria, come on down.
I'm sorry, Maria. I would make Mike do
Okay.
I think I'm qualified. No, Maria, I'm saying you should make him do it. I'm not saying I would.
We'll give you
you.
my authority.
Oh, do you want to?
This one.
I'll give it to you afterwards. I will get through this as fast as I can. I know we're on a bit of a schedule, so. And I have to apologize. You are missing a page from your report. I will make sure John gets it before I leave today, so that you'll have it. Sometimes copiers are not my friend, apparently. So. All right. Well, we'll start with tourism, and then we'll go into parks and recreation. So, tourism, we're doing well. We ended the year up 4.4% over 22. However, we are a little bit behind. And to date, we're attributing that to kind of a slow start to the ski season. Last year, we had a great start to the ski season that lasted quite a while. This year, Brian did have some difficulties. Just Mother Nature wasn't there for us during the holiday time, but they are making up for it now, and they've extended their season through May 5th, so it's going to be good. But we do rely a lot in the wintertime on what is happening with Mother Nature, and so this does happen. And so we kind of anticipate it. Restaurant collections are up 5.6%. So things are okay. So, you have a report in there about earned media to date. We've had several really great. We've had really great articles just in the last 3 months in Forbes, Travel and Leisure, and Toronto Sun, resulting in $4.9 million in advertising equivalent value equivalent. We hosted a really great event for the film, celebrating the film in Utah, because Cedar City is the birthplace of filmmaking in Utah. We hosted a great event on February 3rd at the Cedar Hotel Lobby and Event Center. There was really great turnout, and it was fun. We had the staff from the Utah Film Commission there, and it was just a really good evening.
It was a very good evening.
And thank you, Marilyn, for coming to that. Our contract with our advertising agency has come to an end. We put it out for RFP. We had 18 applicants. We've narrowed it down to 4. They are essentially not local, but they're within either the state, Colorado, or Las Vegas. So we will make it the final decision this week. One of our members of our team was out, so we wanted him to be part of the final decision-making process. So. But we're excited to have a new advertising agency.
You usually have 18 apply
No,
for
the
that?
last time we put this out for bid, it was only like 2 or 3.
Wow.
So we're excited.
You will
that
get more competitive,
Yeah.
huh?
It will be. They are very competitive. They were all great. All the 4 that we interviewed were great. So it's going to be tough to narrow it down. The Iron County Restaurant Tax Board met in January and February to review applications for funding in 2024. The following recommendations were determined. Utah Summer Games, $50,000. Cedar Leisure Services, Little League, so the Little League restroom, $34,000. Diamond Z restroom, $20,000. Diamond Z Electrical, $27,000. Outdoor arena sound at the Diamond Z, $9,000. Heaters for the arena was $5,500. Some money for event recruitment at $10,000, and then we also funded $110,000 plus for the Iron West Light bases for that new soccer complex that they're putting out west. The Shakespeare Festival, $119,200. Canaraville Town for their Canara Falls ladder was $15,000. Dixie National Forest for the restoration of the Brian Head Peak overlook, $35,000. Cedar City Airport Marketing and Research was $37,000. Beverly Center Day of the Dead event, 5,000, and Southern Utah Museum of Art, 23,500. And that total was a little over 500,000. We also, for the county, for out of the restaurant tax fund, we also have projects including trail maintenance, international travel development, and the purchase of the skid steer for the parks. That was 105,000 coming out of there. So the total was 606,031.50. That's the page you're missing. So,
Oh.
sorry about that. We did review an application for the Rotary Canyon Park, which is for phase 3. We've decided to look at that project next year. We want to support it, but because of another project the city brought to us, which I will talk about later in the agenda, we decided that we wanted to look at that project next year so that there would be more funding available, and hopefully that the construction of that project would be would be started and moving forward. Other than that, and also we have some meetings. We're working with Cedar City on improving the airport in terms of flights and times. We have some key meetings coming up. We're excited about the prospects of improving that service out at the airport. Trying to think. And I believe, I wanted to share with you, in your packet, you have some reports from our Placer AI, which is our software program that helps us track mobile devices as they are in the area. The reports are really small writing, so it's better to look at it in real time. But if you wanted to come and look at it anytime with me, I welcome you to do that. But essentially, last year we had 1.6 million overnight visitors in Iron County. So, majority of them are coming from the Las Vegas area, Los Angeles, and the Wasatch Front. So we knew that going in, but it does prove this mobile device data proves that. So, anyways, I just wanted to share those reports with you. So that's tourism. Any questions about that?
I was out to the arena. Was that new epoxy floor? Was that this money?
I don't think so.
Oh. Because, man, it really looked nice if that's what they
Was it in the restroom?
in the whole building.
In the whole building?
Well, just the restroom and the
And that might have been
front
it.
area, yeah.
Yeah.
But they needed it bad. The floors were horrible. So it
We
was
love that
nice.
facility. Okay, moving on to Parks and Recreation. my favorite department. So, issues with the shooting range continue, of course, with the ricochet issue into the BLM range that's on the other side of the hill. We did have a sheriff's deputy who went out there, observed an incident, and decided to close 3 of our bays. They're closed now. We're hoping to have a conversation with the BLM today as part of the coordinating meeting to see what we can do to make this situation better and to get those bays back open.
We have to. It's just too busy to not have those open.
Yeah. So I'm not sure why a airsoft range was built next to a shooting range, but that is what has happened, and we've definitely continued to have issues because of it. We have new events going on at our parks this year, along with our ones we look forward to. But Summer Games is going to have mountain biking out there, May 3rd and 4th out at Three Peaks. They're anticipating about 2,500 participants. They're also going to have orienteering, which is a new event. That's where you take a compass and a map and you go to point, and you do it really, really fast.
Oh, wow.
This is a new event. I have no idea how many people will be participating in that. And then we also have an RC rock crawl that is coming from Southern California to Three Peaks in October 11th through the 13th. And we're thrilled to have them. As far as workloads are concerned, we'll be opening Woods Ranch as soon as the weather allows us to, getting the water on, and then we'll start installing some benches and picnic tables and some new fire pits. 5 Mile, Mike and Bryce, they've met with Alpha Engineering on the water system, and as soon as that's complete, it will be submitted to the state for approval. As soon as the snow melts, we are going to finish up the last of the project so that we can open on August 1st. That's install the amphitheater, remove the large tree in the group area, finish constructing stairs, signage throughout the park, and some more gravel along the road and the parking area. And then once it's open, we'll work on completing the foot trail from the bathroom to the footbridge and have the upper footbridge installed and some more rock work. Also the rock oven and the drinking fountain repaired and get the plaques on them. Three Peaks, Bryce has been clearing the area for the new OHV trailhead. And we're grateful to the trail crew. They really helped us out quite a bit on that. We're appreciative of that resource and that they're available to us. Once the funding's available from the state, we'll purchase the road base, but we do need to coordinate with the road department to haul it and grade it. So, Mike, do you have an idea when that will be? So I know it's hard.
So what are you thinking, time-wise?
May.
First of May. That's when we start chip sealing. But yeah, let's talk about it and see what we need to do. Yeah. Let's have a meeting. Let's have a meeting with Bruce and discuss all of those issues with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, do you? Is that the red rock that we've used before? Okay.
We've had there's several damaged sections of the barbed wire fence still that we're trying to get fixed as well out at Three Peaks. So the usage is up, and it's just kind of an ongoing thing that we have to deal with out there. We did have an injury with our new maintenance custodian a few weeks ago, and he hopes to return on April 8th. So that does kind of put us behind a little bit. So just to make you aware of that.
That was the trailer incident.
The trailer incident. So,
Dang it.
any questions regarding Parks and Rec? Great.
What's going on? Good job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Maria.
Oh, thank you.
Commission. I'm going to start this one.
Start it. Like Richard talked about on the 14th, we talked about the CJC parking lot. We had a meeting with Wendy and the road department, Bruce and Richard. We're just trying to figure that out. We hadn't planned for that too much, and so we're just trying to figure it out, and I'm sure we will. On the 19th, we were asked to come and talk with the Rotary. Mike was out of town, so Paul and I ended up doing that. It was really nice, and just talking about the fairgrounds, the new barn that we're working on to try to get put into the fairgrounds over here so that we can have animals at the fair. We're really excited about that. Talked a little bit about the new building at the CJC that we traded for in Enoch. I think it's going to be a great location, and it's going to be a beautiful building. Talked a little bit about roads, about the some of the chip sealing projects. It'll be really nice to get that 7700. There's a lot of crossways that we go north to south that will really be helpful with that. Paul can talk about him. He talked about water and flood control, that kind of thing. On Fridays, a lot of times we'll have a Zoom meeting. This last Friday we had it with the Public Lands Committee meeting, and it's just very helpful to be able to talk about the issues that other counties have. Some of the things that we talked about was PILT, payment in lieu of taxes. Of course, they always are trying to pull that back. We get such pennies on the dollar compared to tax on our public lands that that's a fight that we always have to be involved in. We talked a little bit about wild horses, about some of the road closures that we're concerned about with this administration. Livestock grazing also is always a concern, especially with this. They're trying to push some of those, especially on the monuments, that we've always had historic grazing rights on those. Sage grouse, they're bringing those all back up again, and just all of the different things that we're going to have to be very aware of going forward. This last Saturday we had Curtis Crawford retire from the Senior Citizens Center and Council on Aging. He has been such a wonderful employee, and the people just love him out there. He's just been really great. It's hard, you understand that you eventually you got to retire, but it's really hard to see somebody that's done such an excellent job in that. And all of us were at that because we do appreciate him so much. Anyway, that was all I had.
Commissioner Cousins.
I'll be brief. We're way over. I attended the CDBG meeting in Richfield. I'm on the state board, and there was a good presentation I wanted to just mention. I won't go into too much detail, but it was a presentation on what they call brownfields, and it's an opportunity for communities to take areas that are run down, old landfills, rail yards, gas stations, old dry cleaners, abandoned garages, old buildings, asbestos pollution, salvage yards, and old mines, lots of different things like that. There's money available in the state grant money to where people can acquire that property, the grant money to go and they can do cleanup and then get that land more productive into creating businesses and tax revenue for the entities that those reside in. So that was something that was, if you want more information, I've got it. The only other thing I'll mention today is the Cedar Beaver Watershed Council tour. We met last week on that. It's a new group of entities that they set up through the state legislature. Cedar Beaver, there's the West Desert, there's a lot of different watersheds, and I sit on that board. And we actually met out in Enoch, and then we took the members of that board on a tour of the Cedar City recharge projects, and it was nice to be able to do that. And everything else was going well. So that's my report.
Great. And I was busy, but I'm going to zip through it. Like Maria talked about some airport issues and working with trying to get some improvements to our flights and times and things like that. That's we've been working on that. We've got some really important upcoming meetings this week to address that. Was able to go with all of the building department and the planning to BZI to look at some of their new innovations and also talk about some building permit issues and just look at some of their new technology when it comes to doing inspections and things like that are our office would be up on those things and understand the technology behind some of these new innovations. So when it comes to building inspections, it'll hopefully be a smoother process. Marilyn talked about the Children's Justice Center. Paul and I had an opportunity to attend the Founders Award banquet at SUU. Just recognize some local folks who have contributed a lot to our community. I'm crossing things off my list. I'm going to shorten it. One thing I did want to talk about just really quick, I had the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. last week. Just spent 2 days there with Southern Utah University Aviation. There's a couple of VA, not even bills, there's laws on the books, but the Veterans Administration enacts rules. One of the several of the rules in a 2022 law, long story short, threaten to take really all universities across the country out of compliance for post 9/11 GI Bill eligibility. It could be, I mean, it's devastating not only to our local university, but universities across the country, but more importantly, devastating to veterans who have served our community. They felt that it was really important to make a personal trip. I was able to, that was one of the things that I was able to do. I was able to assist them in that. We met with about, I think we ended up meeting with 15 different legislative offices on both sides of the aisle. Met with staffers from the Committee on Veterans Affairs. And I guess this is why it's so important. First of all, we have a community that we have a really strong history with veterans. It's been really important to us. Right now, SU Aviation has about 50% of their program that are veterans. Southern Utah University is about 10 to 15% of their total population at SUU are veterans. In aviation specifically, because that's kind of who I was with, they employ 130 people in our community, and their median salary is about $62,000 a year for those 130 jobs. And MIT, and this is way smarter than me, but there's a formula that kind of figures out revenue that's injected into the community. It's a formula that comes out of MIT. The annual revenue generated in our community with SU Aviation is estimated to be about $51 million a year. With that, with their veterans programs and veterans funding being in jeopardy, that would be a major economic blow to our community. And so it was, to have an elected official there, the token elected official, but be able to speak to all of these different legislative offices across the board about our economy, our robust relationship with our veterans here in Iron County, I think was really important. And just some of the things that the aviation program specifically does for us. We have a partnership with the Sheriff's Office, and Ken's talked about that a lot of times and talked about the missions that SUU's, assisted us with. And we assisted them a couple of years ago with about $300,000 to make sure to meet the gap in funding for them to buy a helicopter, specifically for law enforcement use. That $300,000 was eaten up in the first year of maintenance, but yet they continue to back us up and assist our law enforcement and are dedicated to that. On the front of economic development, I don't know how many times we've been able to organize helicopter missions with Inland Port Board, with different folks, developers, folks that are here interested in industrial mining, things like that. We've always been able to organize flights from SUU to take those folks to help them understand our topography, to understand our economic.
It was very instrumental in us being able to be the first inland port satellite.
Absolutely.
It was.
I mean, we got the new Inland Port Board. We threw them on helicopters and took them out and helped them understand on their very first day of being aboard, which ultimately led to us being the first inland port project area in the state. So it was just really important. They've been a big help to tourism. Maria and her crew, during Fall Colors last year, were instrumental in getting them to some places and taking some footage of Fall Colors. There's been a couple of other places that are hard to get to, different properties that for tourism and things that they've been very helpful to get folks into to inspect. Same with the building department. Really outlying areas to go and look at that, take a couple of hours of time on the ground when it takes 20 minutes in the air has really saved us a lot of time and energy, in our building inspections. That's come up a couple of times. They've just been super helpful. And so I think it's really important to continue to help those guys. And SUU is, does a ton for our community. I'm going to stop there. There's some other things, but I really wanted to mention that program though. We mentioned them a lot, but I mean, that's really kind of some of the economic impact that they have to the county. And so I felt like it was really important to help them represent, to make sure that program, and especially to make sure that our veterans are taken care of. So we're going to take, I say 5 minutes, but it's going to take 10. We're going to take a 10-minute break. There's always, some stuff that needs to be done in between our meetings, sign some documents and get some stuff done that shortens the day in the end. Let's come back in 10 minutes for the 10 o'clock session. We're a little behind, but we'll get through it.
got it from Jen's office. It was I had it this morning.
Jeff, I'm having trouble sending this, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's got like a,
Sorry.
Hey, John, that one's
oh yeah, we'll get that taken care of for you.
for you. All right, it's 11:10:40. We'll be back. We'll go in our 10 o'clock meeting. We'll go with our agenda item number 1, which is public comment. Limit comments to 3 minutes. Excuse me. Participants should not repeat other person's comments, only for items not on the agenda. No item related to commission's role as an appeal board. Comments should be directed to the commission with no attacks on other folks' character. So, are there any public comments? Seeing none, we'll go on to...
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Going to, but then I think I will.
okay. Come on down.
Well, my name is Andrea Nelson. I just want to thank the commissioners for the letter they sent to the school board representing the desires of the majority of the community and the majority of the tribal members that have been surveyed. We appreciate you taking that stand to uphold your oath of office as a representative of government in our country. And just thank you very much. Appreciate that. Takes a lot of courage, and we appreciate it.
Did you want to?
Huh? Do you want me to
What's
tell more
going on
about the
tomorrow?
letter?
Yeah.
Well, it's online in Iron County today, and we also know that you sent a letter to the Iron County School Board specifically asking they reinstate the honored name of the Cedar High Redmen. It's been a contentious issue. It went against the desires of the community and the desires of the Native American people who have been surveyed in this community as well as across the country.
Is there a school board meeting?
There is a school board meeting tomorrow at 5:30. We understand that they will be discussing the issue. We hope that supporters of the Redmen will be there, being considerate and voicing their opinion and letting the school board know that what the community wants them to represent. And so thank you very much for leading out on that. Appreciate it.
Thank you also for your work, Andrea. We appreciate your stalwartness, if that's
Oh,
a
my
word. I got in trouble in the auditor's office in the break for making up words. They're like, that's not a word, so stalwartness. August, I hope you're listening in there. I made up another one.
Thank you for that adjective. It's not the word my brothers used when I was growing up. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, agenda item number 2. I gotta get my old man reading glasses out to make sure I get it right. Discussion and possible approval for local consent for the event Boots and Bikinis to be held June 21st and 22nd at the Three Peaks Oasis. Come on down.
Come on
Okay,
up.
yeah, come on up.
Both of you come up.
Tell us who you are.
My name's Austin Christensen. This is my wife, Tammy.
Welcome. Tell us who you represent, a little bit about your event, and what's the scoop, and we'll go from there.
So ourselves and some partners have just bought into the Three Peaks Oasis Event Center out there. Some of the events that have been established, Boots and Bikinis being one of them, Landslide. We're looking to bring in some other event producers to produce events out there, and so this is our first one. We're totally new to this.
Okay. Is there alcohol available at this one?
We'd like there to be. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think that's the reason for the approval. Tell us about the plan for alcoholic beverages.
In what regard? I mean,
just
whatever you approve.
Beer garden.
Like, is it a beer garden? Yeah. Like, what's the circumstance of?
Yeah. So the entire property is fenced off. There's a solar project that surrounds the venue.
Right.
And so it's got a nice, I think it's a 6-foot tall chain link fence all the way around it. We've also got some different stages out there at the venue, and those stage areas will also be fenced off once again, so that we can secure them with security, and there'll be, evacuation plans, entry, exit points, for people in and out. So we're just looking to be able to provide that at the event.
All right. And is it a beer garden type of a service?
I guess
Or-
so. We're totally new. We understand that's the term.
I
mean,
believe that's what it's been in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that we've approved in the past, I think that's been the.
I think
Yeah.
you can kind of go anywhere as long as it's fenced, from what I understand. I've kind of
Yeah.
done research on it. So, and as long as we check IDs, give them a wristband, have someone
Coming in.
that has a permit to do that, then we should be okay on that. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Very good.
No, thank you.
so
That's all we need. But we'll.
And then will they send the paperwork?
Yeah, in fact, we'll, do you?
Do you want to wait a minute and we
Why don't
can?
you- wait, we'll just take care of it this morning, how's that?
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Any discussion on 2? If not,
I think it's good.
have a motion.
I would move for approval for a local consent for the event Boots and Bikinis to be held June 21st and 22nd at the Three Peaks Oasis.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Signed. All right. Resolution 2024-2. This is agenda item number 3. Consideration of a resolution declaring the intent of the county to issue up to a $14,250,000 revenue bond under the Utah Industrial Facilities and Development Act for the benefit of the Dixie Nan Levitt Family Foundation and providing for related matters. Ryan or Tyler, whoever, if you.
Morning, Commission. Thanks for giving
Morning.
me a chance to address you. It's my understanding with emails that were coming across Saturday night that this agenda item may be tabled for the purpose of the Commission putting together a policy, I think, on how to look at these moving forward. I applaud the Commission for putting together a policy that would help those that are applying for it be able to see where they sit before jumping into this. I don't want to come across ungrateful at all. I will say from my perspective, one of the reasons why we started making phone calls in December concerning this item was so that it could go as smoothly as possible. We've been delayed twice now. So I would hope that we're able to put together a policy quickly and be able to move this forward. I do have one question, if I could. The policy that you're thinking of putting together, have you already started thinking of what would eliminate or qualify different groups from applying?
So,
Not very
I could
much.
address that. So I got a call from our municipal advisor, Marcus Keller, Saturday night, and he mentioned that there are, most of the other entities, counties and cities, have a policy in place for this type of a thing, and it was his suggestion that we put a policy in place just so that we can make the process smoother moving forward. I haven't seen anything yet. We've got Marcus kind of going to do the research on that and figure it out, and it sounded like he was already well down that road. I don't know that we have any preconceived notions of what's going to be in that policy. I would assume that Marcus will get back to us in the next day or two with some draft policies or whatever. As soon as I get those, I'll reach out to you and we'll get together and.
Okay.
And
Marcus did tell me that he'd found a couple, like Salt Lake County. I think he was going to look at theirs, and there were a few others that he had mentioned to me this morning. So,
okay, my only fear is just we've gone down this road, and all of a sudden there's a policy in place, and for some reason we no longer qualify, and I would just hate for that to happen, because if that were to happen, we would have pivoted 4 months ago and started looking at different options. So
sure.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd love to be included just to help review it.
Well, Tyler, that's one thing that Marcus mentioned when he talked to me, and I think some of the others, is this is not in unincorporated Iron County. I know you guys have done this before, but it's not in unincorporated Iron County. Why don't you guys go to Cedar City and do this? Because that's really where it should go.
Yeah.
Is Cedar City Council.
Well, yeah,
'Cause they
we-
can do the same thing we can.
Sure. We have options to go either with the city we're in, the county we're in, or even the state. There are different options there. The reason why it's gone from before the county in the past and why we're bringing it forward to the county now is because all that upfront work with staff and bond counsel had been taken care of in the past. So it's just it was a quicker process, an easier process is what it's been for us. And so that's why we decided to bring it forward. For example, when we shared bond documents with Mr. Woodall, he could see, here's what the county approved last time, here are the tweaks, and it's just an easier review process. So based on the policy, if the commission would like us to pursue other government bodies for approval, we'd be happy to do that moving forward. But we're so far down the road, we're hoping we can get this across the finish line with Iron County.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need a
There's a
motion
I
to
would
table?
suggest that you
a
do.
motion to table till for 2
Before we
weeks.
do, one thing, John, I had, I've heard some that would like that posted, the actual language of the resolution posted for the public to see.
We can do that, yeah.
You do that?
We always have our packets available. We don't necessarily publish those, but that's always available.
You just have to ask for it.
You just have to ask, yeah. And that goes for any kind of documents, unless it's closed session items or things that we really can't share. We'll share with anyone. Yeah, you all are a public body.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll move to table item number 3, and until we can work with our bond counsel per their recommendation is to form I think the wording was an industrial revenue bond conduit issuance policy monitoring. Industrial revenue bond conduit issuance policy. That's what they called it. That's the official term, I believe, that Marcus told us about. So,
I'll second that.
All right, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 4. Maria, discussion and possible recommendation from Iron County Restaurant Tax Board for funding the Cross Hollows Diamond Z Indoor Arena Expansion Project.
Okay, so we received a request from Cedar City Leisure Services through our Iron County Restaurant Tax Board meeting, where we were determining how we'd be spending our funds for 2024. They had requested $1.4 million to expand the Cross Hollows Diamond Z Arena, basically building another building. And I'll give you some details here. Just let me pull it up really quick. So this would be in an enclosed facility of the Diamond Z Arena. It'd be 105 by 220. And basically this would provide an area for contestants and participants to warm up outside of the competition area. It would also be an additional area for all the events that are taking place out at the Cross Hollows Arena, as well as help them in recruiting new and bigger events who have indicated that they would like to come to Cross Hollows, but the facilities are not large enough for what they would like to be doing out there. So after 2 meetings with the Restaurant Tax Board, the board would like to come to you with the recommendation of approving $1 million towards the construction of this new facility. The funding would take place over 3 years, essentially $333,333. So for 3 years. So we would, they would not be able to start anything and probably until next year, when the 2 payments would come in. and they could start on the very first phase of this project. Would still have to go out and do some fundraising. They do have a large donor who is donating towards the project, a family, and then they would still have to continue to come up with some funds to finish it. But we felt like $1 million of, spread out over 3 years would be okay to the restaurant tax budget. It would support the facility, but also leave money in there in the fund to support other projects throughout the county. And so that's what I'm coming to you today to see how you feel about that.
Could you talk a little bit about the request this year was way higher?
Yeah. So we had a lot of requests. So we had over $2.2 million in requests from the restaurant tax fund.
And how much do you have?
We had $1 million to spend in that budget. So we felt, we feel like it's in the best interest of the county and the best interest of everyone and who, would like our support, that we don't get too bogged down with one single project at this point. And so we just wanted to make sure that we could move forward with Cross Hollows, because we love that project. We love that facility. We know what it does economically. Scott, who oversees that facility, is very aggressive and has been able to fill almost like pretty much every weekend. With events and then just the use during the week. And so its expansion would be very, very helpful. I mean, we all love the Livestock and Heritage Festival. It certainly could grow into more space if their space was there. And then they, just the ability to kind of facilitate even just some local stuff. But at the end of the day, we would like to see more events that come from outside of the area. And Scott indicated there was at least 3 major events that would probably come to our area at a time of year when we would appreciate that business if this facility was expanded. So the tax board feels pretty confident that this is a good use of the tax funds. So
I'm totally in support of that, of it. We've used that facility for years, and it's a great facility, and Scott has just made it that much better and just pushed it forward like crazy. I mean, he has really done a great job, and so it is a great project.
And
totally in support of it.
And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but at the end of the day, it is the city's project. They have to maintain it. They have to do some of the upkeep. Now they have come to us. I mean, I did, some of the other projects we supported this year was in terms of maintenance of that facility. And so my hope is that they'll take care of it and that the maintenance will not fall on us. That they need to make it pay for itself and help pay for some of the things, some of that upkeep. Because I think we should be pretty clear that we're not in the maintenance and operation business. So.
And that was, I sit on that board. This was, there was a lot of effort that went into this particular item. I mean, we met over the course of a couple of different days. We've got a memorandum of understanding that Sam's helped us with that makes it really clear what our responsibilities are moving forward. It's good. When we sit in these meetings, the folks on the board represent local restaurants and hotels, and talk about the correlation of events at Cross Hollows Event Center, and there's obvious benefits to them and their businesses. With the events there, it's always kind of a no-brainer because that is such a generator of revenue within especially the restaurant
Throughout
business.
the county, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really is.
So, for us, it makes, this is a infrastructure project that will provide the return back to the tax in which we're funding it from. So, we do have, as the next agenda item, we do have the prepared MOU, if you would like to consider it.
Ready for a motion
So
on number
we just need
4?
it. So that
Yeah.
okay. So that's just the recommendation.
That's just the
So
recommendation.
we're going to number 5. So I don't have my glasses on. I get in trouble when I don't have my old man reading glasses
You
on.
don't want to take a motion on 4 first?
Well, that was just the discussion,
Okay.
and so
So,
that was just the recommendation, and so agenda item number, right, John? Am I?
That's the
tracking?
way it's written.
Have-
Yeah.
That's how it's written. So agenda item number.
The commission could approve the
recommendation.
recommendation of the
Recommendation
board
of
and
the-
then approve the MOU.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that it would matter if you failed to do the first one, but I think there is action there to be taken.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
It's on there.
All right. I would move for the recommendation for the Iron County Restaurant Tax Board for funding the Cross Hollow Diamond Z Indoor Arena Expansion Project for $1 million and over a 3-year period.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So agenda item number 5, discussion and possible approval of memorandum of understanding between Iron County and Cedar City for the Diamond Z area expansion.
So Sam was kind enough to put a rush on this so that we could have it in time for this meeting. I felt like we have a simplified MOU for most of our projects, but I felt like because of the fact that this was taking over 3 years of payment, we were not bonding, that we should have a bit of a stronger MOU. So I was very appreciative of Sam to put a rush on this. So the MOU just basically says I don't have to read it all.
No.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm apologizing right now.
No, I think you've covered it.
Yeah, so basically it just says $1 million and then outlines how it should be paid every year for the 3 years. With the final payment in 2026 based on receipts. So they would have to provide us with receipts that state that they've spent the dollars up to $1 million.
Those post performance. They perform, then we pay.
Then we pay.
Got it.
So,
Very good.
do you need copies? I was just to make sure
We don't.
you're all good.
I read it. I mean, we had it in our packet. So.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
had a copy.
Yep.
You ready for a motion?
Yep.
Yep.
I'll move to approve the MOU between Iron County and Cedar City for the Diamond Z Arena expansion.
Second?
It's moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. You work hard.
You do. Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Maria, we'll get you. I'll email you a copy of the executed version of this.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Item number 6. This will be George Colson. Discussion on possible approval of local memorandum of understanding between the Iron County and municipal jurisdictions, Enoch City, Parowan City, Canaryville, Paraguna, and the town of Bryan Head to authorize Iron County to negotiate with emergency medical service provider for 5 years.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So the 2023 legislature passed SB 64, and it was signed into law. And SB 64 says that all political entities in the state of Utah are required to be responsible for emergency medical services within their jurisdictions. I went out and talked to all of our communities, and they were of one opinion that they did not want that responsibility, and they were more than glad to give it over to me.
There's a lot of this going on. Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We don't have to write these memorandums.
Yay!
George is going to. Boy.
Yeah, they did
There's
not
a lot of that going
They
on.
did not want to do any contracting with emergency medical services. They were more than glad to turn it over to me. So with the help of Sam, we sat down and hammered out an MOU that would cover that. We sent it out to all the municipalities. They've all signed them now, and I just need your permission to go ahead and execute those MOUs and get them signed and get them back to those communities. And Commissioner Blake and Sam and I have met. The emergency medical services for the state of Utah have now been removed from the Department of Health, and there is a separate Department of Emergency Medical Services that are under DPS. So we met with the new head of the emergency medical services up in Salt Lake, and he agreed that this was a good thing.
Yes.
I would move for approval of the MOU between Iron County and multiple jurisdictions, Enoch City, Parowan City, Canaryville, Paraguna, and the town of Bryan Head to authorize Iron County to negotiate with emergency medical services provided for 5 years.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, George.
I got a whole stack of. All right.
I'll make you a better stack in the future. I was busy this afternoon.
Item number 7, Resolution 2024-3, authorizing the implementation of a 0.3% local option sales tax under Utah Code Annotated 59-12-2216 for the purposes of public safety and approving all related actions to implement said tax. Any discussion?
This is what we work through the legislation to be able to have the jail.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of hard
Funding.
work that went on.
A lot of work.
Lot of work with
Mike
our,
was very active in that.
Oh,
How many times did you run up there?
I don't know. A bunch.
A lot.
A lot. We met, but it was a group effort. Lieutenant Shaver traveled with us. John traveled with us. The sheriff traveled with us. Many hours at the Capitol, on the phone, via text, via email, talking with the commissioners. I mean, this has been a huge group effort, and the ups and downs with the legislature and being able just to work through the politics of the legislature.
It was grueling.
It's a ton of hard work, but ultimately it'll benefit the county for the foreseeable future, for decades to come.
And
So,
we didn't pass. Rex Ship ran the original Bill 113, and this seemed like a better option going forward. So, but we want to thank Rex. He was awesome to run
Absolutely.
it and to work through it, and he was just amazing. I just want to personally thank him from
Absolutely.
the commission.
And at the end of the
It's so
day,
awesome.
I mean, really the discussion was there's already a vehicle that will accomplish the same thing without passing new legislation. There's already existing legislation.
They
that-
pass enough as it is, so that's always a good thing if you
And
don't have
so-
to pass another bill.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, Representative Shipp worked extremely hard, and this wouldn't have come about the way it did without Representative Shipp. Senator Vickers was also very, very helpful, as well as
She was.
a bunch of other members of the House and the Senate. We spent a lot of time with a lot of representatives. It was good.
Yep.
It's good to be involved in the process.
It's good to look them in the eye and have them realize, that there's a need and
Right.
and to watch them be responsive. And to your point, this bill number was House Bill 488. That's
Yeah.
a lot of bills.
Yeah. Oh, so thank you, everybody, for your help. Let's call for motion.
I'll move to approve Resolution 2024-3, authorizing the implementation of a 0.3% local option sales tax, UCA 59-12-2216, for the purposes of public safety and approving all related actions to implement said tax.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll step out of our role as the commission, convene as the Board of Equalization for agenda item number 8, discussion and possible approval of 2024 property tax exemptions, which have been submitted by religious, educational, or charitable organizations requesting tax exempt status on personal or real property for the 2024 tax year. Welcome, Michaela, to the stand.
Hi
That
guys.
was a mouthful.
Okay, so I'm here to present the 2024 property exemptions for religious, education, or charitable organizations. In this first little packet here, it's paperclip together. That's just the itemized list for each organization that has had a recurring exemption. That back page there is one that you'll have to sign for me, just approving those. There were no new applications this year. All organizations sent in the required forms except for one, the Archaeological Conservancy. We did email and call them multiple times and they never responded. So,
Maybe they're out of business.
yeah.
We don't know.
So then there were a few changes that are listed on that second page, second little thing there. The Board of Education added another property. The Cedar City Housing Authority added a new property. Henry's Place, they've been here, but they just completed another building and now they're 100% exemption. And then the Southwest Wildlife Foundation, they've had property, but they just added another building, so now they are current 100%. Brian did go and check out Henry's Place and the Wildlife Foundation and found that everything was in compliance and good there. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints removed one property, and the National Mustang Association removed a vehicle. But other than those, that was really the only new things. So,
All right.
Okay, ready for a motion?
Absolutely.
I would move for an approval of the 2024 property tax exemption, which has been submitted by religious, educational, or charitable organizations requiring tax exemption status on personal or real property for the 2024 tax year.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Which ones do you? Okay.
Oh. Doesn't matter which line we're on.
I don't think it matters.
Who did she say? Oh, I guess just those two.
All right. For the remaining items, we'll reconvene as the Iron County Commission. Agenda item number 9, discussion regarding ongoing litigation. This portion of the meeting may be disclosed pursuant to UCA 52-4-205.
Commissioner, would you like to do item 10 first?
Yeah, I was going to ask if we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have that freedom to.
Well,
Let's
Never
do Jen
mind.
first.
Yeah, let's go to Jen first.
Oh, okay.
Now I was on autopilot. I'm like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, now we're going to skip. And then
No worries at all.
I'm
Good
just
morning.
on autopilot going down the list.
All
Item
right.
number 10, personnel.
Perfect. The first two items will be from Sheriff's Office Corrections. Leah Hatch was selected from the most recent competitive recruiting and interview process to backfill the vacant full-time Secretary 1 position effective 4/1/2024. And Zachary Coons has passed the required testing to receive bilingual pay effective March 31st, 2024. In the Attorney's Office, Hayden Morton was selected from the most recent competitive recruiting and interview process to transfer from a part-time CJC Victim Service Specialist to backfill the vacant full-time Attorney Legal Assistant position effective 3/18/2024. On Council on Aging, Ron Morrow was selected from the most recent competitive recruiting and interview process to transfer from a part-time Council on Aging outreach worker to backfill the vacant full-time exempt Council on Aging Director position effective 3/31/2024. In the Fleet Department, Kelton Iverson was selected from the most recent competitive recruiting and interview process to backfill the vacant full-time Fleet Assistant Mechanic position effective 4/1/2024. And then the last on the agenda is in reference to the retirement services that I kind of wanted to put it in policy just because I was attending a training that kind of alerted us to some fraudulent activity that's been happening where people will come into all sorts of Utah retirement systems buildings and claim to be part of URS and persuade people to transfer all of their retirements into their accounts. And so because of that, they strongly advised us to put something in policy that does not allow anyone to come into these buildings to kind of do that fraudulent activity. And we don't really have control, nor do I want to take control of people in their retirements, but I just don't want them to be solicited in our offices. So that's and I can read that word for word if you'd like me to. I did send an email out to all employees last week that kind of broke that down as well, so they know where it's coming from and the reasons why. It's just really important to make sure that those outside agencies don't have the opportunity to do that.
Great.
Can we do that all together?
Yeah, let's do it all together.
Okay, I would move for approval of all of the personnel items that Jennifer has just laid them all out. A through E.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. You write my name on these really quick.
Sam?
Do we
Sam?
need to?
Got a question.
We need a motion on agenda item number 9, which is
Number 9.
discussion regarding ongoing litigation. This portion of the meeting. Yes.
I'm sorry to keep bothering you.
Dang it, John.
Would you like to do the non-delegated first as well?
Is there some?
Sure.
If there are any.
I don't know of
I don't
any.
think there were any, but yes.
Okay.
We haven't talked about any.
So non-delegated,
Non-delegated,
none.
there aren't any.
So
But I-
9. And yeah, you need to have a motion, an action,
Right.
and also stating, and it's there in the agenda item,
Yeah. If we could just get a motion
but that subsection of code.
to number 9.
I'll move to go into closed session pursuant to UCA 52-4-2051. And this is to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We'll be in closed session. I think everything else is taken care of. Thank you. over at the Mexican.
Oh, good. Tell him to order us tacos.
Right. You're going.
All right. We're back in session after a closed session. There's no action taken or anything to report from that. We'll be adjourned.